All blessings to the Most High. This is Black Mountain Hotel. How y'all doing, brothers and sisters? Man, it's been a ride. Some of y'all, I know y'all are out there. Some of y'all ain't out there. You know what I'm saying? But it's been a ride regardless. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, I'm gonna just get right into it, because if I don't get right into it, I might ramble on. Essentially, no. First of all, fuck the Democrat and Republican establishment. Fuck them both. As black people, we should be recognizing fuck them both. They have both brutalized us. They have both created legislation that has directly, systematically oppressed us. Fuck them both. One of the things that I hear a lot of people say is, oh, well, one is better than the other. There's no such thing as the lesser of two evils when it comes to white supremacy. It's either white supremacy or white supremacy, period. Ain't no lesser of two evils. So if you feel like that, if you feel like you're a lesser of two evils type of black person, then you might not be the type of black person who's ready for a revolution or who's ready to get their freedom, because you're too busy voting for the lesser of two evils. All right? So let's just preface everything with that, is that this is not a play for any fucking Republican. Fuck all the Republicans. Fuck voting, period. At this point in time, at least. So listen to how I said that. At this point in time, at least. Anyway, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. We really, what I'm noticing is a lot of tap dancery and a lot of bootlickery going on. A lot of these brothers and sisters, mostly sisters, coming out and they're trying to cape for Kamala like she was caping for us. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell the black woman something first, since she is the most important. Okay, let me tell the black woman something first. All right, since you were the very first victim when by taking us away, you became that first victim. You were the very first victim. You're victimized by the system, and then you're victimized by us black men when we come out of prison or we come into these neighborhoods and we ain't got no home, like no real training because of the shit we gone through. So us being the second victim is a product of you being the first. So let's talk about you. All right, let's talk about the black women that she had on the fire line. Let's talk about those sentences that were extended, not just for black men, but for black women, so that they could stay out there for pennies on the dollar a day and fight fires for rich white people. Because that's what they weren't fighting fires for the hood. They weren't fighting fires for niggas down in the Bronx or nothing like that. No, they were fighting fires for rich white people in the hills. All right, she extended their sentences. Extended. Let's talk about all of the black women who had to go through prosecution because their children were truant. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the fact that the woman expressed already that she was happy that she had created a way to prosecute parents for having truant children. Because that's exactly what we need in the black community, is our black mothers and our black our husbands and mothers going to prison. That's the last thing. That's what we fucking need, right? We need that. So let's prosecute them and send them out and leave the kids by themselves. That's her, Kamala Harris, right there. All right, let's talk about this Joe Biden nigga. Hold on. First of all, do I even need to go into his record, or are most people already on board? I'm going to go off the onus that most people are already on board. They already understand. The man constructed the 94 crime bill, Joe Biden's bill, whatever the fuck you want to call it. That nigga constructed that shit. There are still black people today with DOC sentences because of that motherfucker. Literally. So the fact that anybody would want to vote for someone who has brutalized them because they're afraid of someone who was verbally brutalized them shows me that they got something going on up here. Okay, let me express why. So you got one person in red, a Republican, and he's called me the N-word and all sorts of shit to my face, right? To my face. Called it to me to my face, but he ain't wrote nothing in law yet that has locked up my people. He has only told me that he ain't for my people. He's already told me that he don't like me. He's already told me that all he cares about is business, but he ain't locked my niggas up. He ain't locked my people up. Now let's look at the people in blue, who actually have locked my people up, who actually have constructed the bills that have put my people in prison, who actually have constructed the systemic ways to oppress us that we still don't even understand, well, that y'all still don't even understand, because a lot of the people that I talk to seem to gloss right over that and go directly to, well, we gotta push Trump out of office. That man may not call you the N-word to your face. That man may not tell you he doesn't like your people, or he may tell you he's for your people, but he's put your people in chains, literally. But hold up. Everybody wants to then conflate this, or not conflate, they want to bring this all back to, well, Trump has put the Latinx community in chains, and he's done all. So did Obama. All right? So did Obama. And hold up for a second. I like how when it comes to caping for white supremacists, black people have to put away their morality for others. But when we're asking people to put away their morality for us, it never happens. When we're asking them to go, you know what, forget about what you need and do what we need, they don't want to do that. But then when we're talking about what's directly affecting us, they want to go, oh, well, they've been putting our people in cages. Nigga, my people been in cages. Joe Biden put my people in cages. Kamala Harris put my people in cages. Literally wrote the legislation to put my people in cages. Some of them are still in cages. Some of them got DOC sentences and on parole because they were in cages by them. What about the black people who've been in cages? What about them? What about all the black people who've been in cages since this whole thing has started? What about the mothers who have no husbands at home because they were in cages? What about the mothers in cages? What about the black men and women who were forced to raise themselves because a Democrat put them in a cage? Literally. Let's not talk about how bad the Republicans are right now. Everybody knows and talks about that all the time. Let's talk about the Democrat and how they have directly affected us. Let's talk about the cities that are run by them, that have been run into the ground. Let's talk about how they like to resurrect that they got black people who will now, these black people are in office for you and they went to the HBCU and this and that and shuck and jive and dance and shit. The HBCU ain't done a damn thing for us. White people go to Harvard and they come back in their neighborhood and their families come up. Black people go to HBCUs and we still have nothing. We still have nothing. So you want to tell me again? Why should I care about that symbolism? Why should I care when you say someone was in a sorority? Congratulations, you were in a sorority. I was in prison. What does that do for me? What does your sorority life do for me? Not a damn thing. Every time somebody comes up with a logical argument, every time one of us black people who actually know what's fucking going on come up with a logical argument, you got some idiot who want to trot out, who want to bring out some tap dancing Cornel West type nigga, or want to bring out some tap dancing like black establishment person, some Roland Martin ass motherfucker. We don't care about what they got to say. They don't identify with us. They identify with the establishment. They identify with that pay. The only person who was willing to work with somebody who knowingly caged their people is someone who has no knowledge of self. And if you do got a knowledge of self and you're still willing to work for him, it's because you're getting money. It's because you're getting paid. I'm talking directly to Cornel West. I'm talking directly to Roland Martin. It's because those white supremacists pay you to say some dumbass shit and sell out your black people. Ain't nobody selling me out. Ain't nobody selling me out. Y'all can put me in the shame corner. Y'all can put me wherever y'all want. But I ain't gonna be that idiot. And I can tell you there's a lot of us who won't be. I mean, this shit is disrespectful. This shit is disrespectful. This system right now is not for either one of us. The Democrat and Republican system is not for either one of us. No matter what people try to tell you, none of these systems are going to actually help you. Black people. If you're white and you're watching this, I don't care what you have to say. I don't care about your false statistics. I don't care about any type of resurrection argument you have. I don't care about some opportunity zone crap you have. I don't care about your Trump nigga. I don't care about you white liberals. I don't care about you white conservatives. All I care about are the revolutionaries. The real ones. The ones who know that all of this is bullshit. Literally. All of this is bullshit. And the black revolutionaries is that. Like, for real. I don't have respect for y'all. I don't have respect for y'all because you don't have respect for yourselves. Let me tell you something that I recognize since being out here in these protests. in the beginning, it was like everybody, like all these white allies were like all for black people. Like, yeah, black leadership. Yeah, listen to your black leadership. Follow the black people. Motherfuckers was on their knees, doing pledges and shit, doing dumbass symbolic gestures. And I was standing there and I was watching for a while and I was like, this shit is not gonna do anything for us. Like, doing a pledge ain't gonna do nothing for me. Like, let's see these motherfuckers get active. How many of these people are gonna stay? Let's see how long they're willing to be led by black people. And it wasn't fucking long. It wasn't fucking long. Wasn't long. Now there are talks of autonomy. I feel like the talks of autonomy amongst groups are autonomy away from black leadership, because they don't want black people to lead them to black liberation. They want to lead liberation the way they describe it. Another issue I have is with these people out here who believe, these white people out here, who believe that they are the arbiters of black liberation, who believe that they're the arbiters of black freedom. You're not the arbiter of black freedom. You're not the arbiter of black liberation. You're not the arbiter of black education. You're not the arbiter of jack shit, but putting on gear. You understand? If you don't get with the black grassroots, then you don't understand what we want. All you're doing is fighting for everybody. And I got news for you. As long as we fight for everybody, niggas don't get nothing. Black people don't get nothing. We don't get anything. And one of the things I've been noticing since I've been out here doing these things, since I've been out here protesting, is that motherfuckers, white people don't want to be led by black people. Whenever there's an issue that black people bring up, it becomes like this big thing. White people start explaining, like, oh, well, see, it's not that, it's just that, it's a lot of that shit right there. But whenever they got an issue, motherfucking action gets done. White people come together, congregate, and they start talking democratically, like they're ready to get on par with the revolution. But when black people start talking about it, they start feeling ashamed. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're a white person and you're out here fighting and you're afraid of being ashamed, you need to get your ass back in the motherfucking house. Because y'all should be ashamed. You should be ashamed that we feel this way. You should be ashamed that we have to keep talking to y'all and expressing to y'all how we fucking feel. You should be ashamed that you're a part of the class of people that oppress us. You should be ashamed of that. Yes, you should be. This isn't a white hate thing. This is a love thing. I love you as a human, so I'm trying to help you reclaim your humanity. You should be ashamed that you describe your humanity as putting in a couple dollars in the Whole Foods line. You should be ashamed that what you describe as humanity is saying Black Lives Matter. You should be ashamed that what you describe as humanity is doing symbolic gestures for black people. You should be ashamed of that. If you ain't doing real action, you should be ashamed as a white person. You should be ashamed because those who aren't about the action and those who don't care and those who do brutalize us, they're making a bad name for you. You should be ashamed. You should be ashamed. Hey, when there's black on black violence, I'm ashamed. When there's black on black violence, I'm upset. I'm deterred. I'm perturbed. I'm angry. Because we're busy fighting a war and y'all warring on each other. When there's black on black violence, I'm out there wondering, how do we change that conversation? How do we fix these things in our own community so that we don't have to get policed? Yeah, so I'm ashamed. So if we, as the black community, can be ashamed when our brothers and sisters are killing each other, y'all motherfucking white people should be ashamed, period. Just off that. And then we'll work from there. If you're afraid of that guilt, that's too fucking bad. You should have it. One of the things that I've noticed is that white people who claim they have no guilt, who claim they are really for this, have eventually become one of those who now are showing their guilt. You show their guilt because you mistakenly show your underlying racial animus by doing certain things like trying to remove yourself from black leadership so that you can lead groups of white people. But this whole entire thing that's all happened started off of Black Lives. Not Black Lives Matter, the organization, because that's not what we're talking about here. But started off of Black Lives. Started off of people like, I get real angry when I talk about this. But started off people like with Botham Jean. Where a white person can just walk up into his house and shoot him. Nobody really talked about him. It's probably because his family sold out, but nobody still talked about the fact that Amber Geiger only got 10 years. Nobody was talking about that, though, out here in the protests. Ahmaud Arbery, that right there should have got people out before George Floyd did. That was a cold-blooded murder by a regular citizen. And that should have got us all out. I was out. That should have got everybody activated. But it didn't get y'all activated because you're weak. You needed just a little bit more. I understand. You need just a little bit more. And the Roni got y'all in the house on lockdown. And since the Roni got you on lockdown, you had the ability to see crime against my people. But crime against my people has always been a thing that has been seen. We've been talking about it forever. And this is how I know y'all got racial animus, because we've been telling y'all that they've been literally brutalizing us from day one, from Jump Street. And it took the fucking coronavirus and niggas being in their house to see